Jackie Robinson. A black man in white baseball.
Mark my words and circle this date. Negroes are gonna run the white man straight out of baseball.
This ain't the America I know. You hear me?
If they knew you, they would be ashamed.
If Robinson can help us win, then he is going to play on this ball club.
You don't belong here, and you never will.
You want a player who doesn't have the guts to fight back?
No, I want a player who's got the guts not to fight back.
You give me a uniform. You give me a number on my back. I'll give you the guts.
As Jackie Robinson walked out onto the field, he knew this was not one of his usual games. This game could determine the futures of many aspiring athletes of minority descent. Jackie Robinson's debut in Major League Baseball on April 15, 1947, marked the turning point in integrating sports in America. Before Robinson, only white athletes were allowed to compete at the highest levels of competition. Robinson set the removal of this discriminatory practice in motion and paved the way for greater diversity in sports. Robinson's debut marked a turning point in history by paving the way for future generations to participate in baseball by breaking the color barrier. Jackie Robinson was born on January 31st, 1919 in Cairo, Georgia. During Robinson's childhood, he was already introduced to sports. Being accepted into UCLA, he excelled in many sports such as football, basketball, track and field, and baseball. Soon after, in 1942, Robinson was drafted into the U.S. Army during World War II, and eventually became a second lieutenant in a segregated unit. During his time serving, there was an incident where he was court-martialed for refusing to move to the back of a segregated bus. Robinson was acquitted of these charges, but from that moment on, he knew this experience would leave a lasting impact on himself to fight segregation in American society. Before Robinson's grand entrance into Major League Baseball, Robinson continued playing baseball for the Negro Leagues. His success there caught the attention of Brooklyn Dodgers owner Branch Rickey, who selected him as the first African American player. Before he could play for the Dodgers, he had to showcase his abilities in the minor leagues first, playing for the Montreal Royals. During his time in the Royals, Jackie proved worthy of the major leagues. This led to Branch Rickey calling Robinson up to play for the Brooklyn Dodgers in Major League Baseball. Branch Rickey also played a pivotal role in breaking the color barrier. During Branch Rickey's interview with Jackie Robinson, he already knew that Robinson was a phenomenal baseball player, but he knew that he needed not only a great athlete, but also a person who would not fight back against racism. Rickey called Robinson every racist name he knew for 3 hours straight. This led to Robinson asking, "Mr. Rickey, are you looking for a Negro who is afraid to fight back?" "Robinson," Rickey barked, "I'm looking for a ball player with the guts enough not to fight back." When he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, he faced persistent discrimination and racism as a professional baseball player, from fans hurling racial slurs and objects to opposing players resorting to physical violence. Robinson once said, "I speak to you only as an American who happens to be an American Negro and one who is proud of that heritage. We ask for nothing special. We ask only that we be permitted to compete on an even basis, and if we are not worthy, then the competition shall, per se, eliminate us." Even within his team, he faced isolation and hostility from some of his white teammates who resisted playing alongside him. Robinson was warned to expect vicious treatment from fans and players from the Deep South, but in his fifth game, the team that was now slinging slurs was the Philadelphia Phillies. Ben Chapman, the Phillies team manager, believed that Negroes did not belong in the major leagues, so he ordered his players to catcall Robinson. He knew that if he got Robinson to fight back, it would cause a race riot, proving that blacks and whites shouldn't play in the same league. The Phillies made dreadful comments toward Robinson, insulting his looks and warning his teammates that if they touched Robinson's towel or comb, they would get sores and diseases. He told himself that he was crazy, thinking that his baseball skills would win over people so full of hate. Many years later, Robinson wrote that it would have felt wonderful to walk to the Phillies dugout and beat up one of his tormentors. But he knew that although there might have not been a thing on this planet that would have satisfied him more, this would ruin not only his baseball career, but also the chances of many other aspiring African Americans hoping to pursue a career in sports. Robinson's journey exemplifies the power of nonviolent resistance and dignified defiance in the face of prejudice. Neither anger nor aggression was expressed in response to racial slurs or threats. He once stated, "I am not concerned with your liking or disliking me. All I ask is that you respect me as a human being." His calm and focused approach earned him the respect of his teammates, opponents, and fans who had initially expressed racist sentiments towards him. Throughout Robinson's career, he was paid significantly less than his white counterparts, despite winning many awards such as the National League Most Valuable Player. Robinson's courage and dignified demeanor in the face of racial slurs, threats, and adversity made him a symbol of hope and progress for African Americans nationwide. As a result of his exceptional talent and character, Robinson demonstrated that African Americans could excel at the highest levels of sport and challenge the deeply ingrained prejudices against African Americans. By 1953, shortly after Robinson's debut, 19 more black baseball players were admitted into Major League Baseball. 3 years later, in 1950, the National Basketball Association introduced the first 2 black basketball players. His accomplishments were powerful examples, encouraging a generation of young black athletes to pursue their aspirations and strive to attain the highest levels of competition. Beyond baseball, Robinson's impact rippled across sports, desegregating other professional leagues and college sports. The impact of Robinson went far beyond the realm of sports. Despite the immense pressure, Robinson's exceptional skill, resilience, and unwavering commitment to equality paved the way for integration into professional sports and catalyzed the civil rights movement. His unwavering commitment to nonviolence and his ability to rise above adversity showcased the power of peaceful protest, inspiring other civil rights activists and encouraging them to embrace a similar approach. Robinson publicly spoke out against discrimination and participated in many civil rights events and marches. His success in breaking the racial barrier sparked conversations about racial equality in various sectors of American society. In 1940, the poverty rate for African Americans was 87%. In 20 years, this number dropped down to 47%. This shows that Jackie Robinson not only integrated African Americans into sports, but into society as well. Schools, businesses, and other institutions began to reconsider their policies of segregation and discrimination. Before Robinson's play day, only 7% of African Americans graduated from high school and only 1% from college. Just over 10 years later, in 1960, the percentage of blacks who graduated high school rose to about 21%, and the percentage of blacks who graduated college rose to 3%. This illustrates that Robinson's playing in the major leagues gave black people hope to pursue higher education. Before Robinson, it did not matter whether black people were educated or not, because society would have still regarded to them as inferior because of their race. Robinson's legacy transcended baseball, an enduring symbol of courage, perseverance, and the power of breaking down barriers in pursuing justice and equality. Jackie Robinson challenged racial segregation and inspired a new generation of activists. His impact was felt not only by athletes, but by all who sought to dismantle the entrenched system of racial discrimination, making him a true trailblazer in the fight for civil rights. In many ways, his legacy serves as a reminder that sports can be a potent catalyst for social transformation, removing obstacles and promoting fairness. In addition, it unites people from diverse backgrounds in the spirit of camaraderie and competition. Robinson's debut was not only a triumph for sports, but also a triumph for the values of equality and inclusion that transcended sports. Like Robinson once said, "Life is not a spectator sport. If you're going to spend your whole life in the grandstand just watching what goes on, in my opinion, you're wasting your life."